Y'all remember I addressed those comments by Donnie Swaggart. Well, Bishop Clarence McClendon actually made some similar comments, and so now if this program starts, I'm gonna stop it. But go ahead and play that because I need to. I think I want this panel to address what this idiot had to say. Play it.
Things, but I saw the Madam Vice President in a rally where some people said Jesus is Lord, and she looked at them and said, "You're in the wrong rally." And they tried to sweep it. They tried to sweep it under the rug like she wasn't addressing that. But there were two people. One had said that she was telling lies, and the other said Jesus is Lord, and she addressed them both. She said, "You all, not one of you, y'all are at the wrong rally. You don't believe me." They kept it out of the news. While on the other hand, the other candidate has people singing "How Great Thou Art" in his rallies, and still a bunch of pimp jack-leg preachers who are in bed with the political elite are trying to tell their congregations to vote for someone who is against the Judeo-Christian ethic. That devil is a liar, and God will determine who's who. You're looking at me like you didn't hear about it. That's why I brought the clip. Show it.
Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
No, that wasn't what she was addressing. She was addressing someone who called her a liar. No, she was addressing them both. She heard someone call her a liar. She heard someone say Jesus is Lord. And she says, "You all are at the wrong rally." And then she says, "You need to go to the smaller one down the street." Well, let me tell you something, my sister. You need to watch how you deal with God's people in this hour. Because just because you get elected, if you do, doesn't mean you'll last. God is still the God of heaven and the God. That's not a threat. I'm a prophet. God will do certain things to silence the mouth of mockers. So you sell your vote for welfare programs, stimulus packages, housing promises, even if the candidates are against your Christian values and your Judeo-Christian ethic, and then you have the nerve to stand in a pulpit and call yourself a child of God. No, you're not. You're not a man of God. You're a preaching pimp, selling your people for the latest trick. Don't worry, I don't want to come to your conference. I've already been. God wasn't there. I ain't coming again.
So let me tell you what y'all just heard. You just heard a preaching pimp. You just heard somebody have the audacity to try to call out Vice President Kamala Harris and her Christian faith, yet Bishop Clarence McClendon, who stood up there with his S-curl, and he said nothing about the lies of Donald Trump. He said nothing about Donald Trump cheating on multiple wives, sleeping with a porn star for one of them as well. He said nothing about the comments that he's made against people. Please show me how that somehow is representing the Christian faith. Talk to me about somebody who has consistently degraded and shamed people and treated them with bad behavior. You didn't hear Bishop Clarence McClendon say a word about Donald Trump, who has cheated small businesses out of their money. You didn't hear him say anything about how he has mistreated people, how he has called folk out of their name. You heard none of that. No, what you heard was a preaching pimp who wants to sit here and excuse the antics of somebody who is pure evil. And Bishop Clarence McClendon, please help me out. We ain't seen you out in these streets fighting on behalf of regular, ordinary folk. We haven't seen you talking about these important issues. You sound the same as crazy Donnie Swaggart down there in Baton Rouge. Now, you may have been on that preaching reality show, but please tell me exactly what have you done? You now want to call out Vice President Kamala Harris, knowing she's a Christian woman, knowing what she's expressed solely over the issue of abortion? Do you really want to go there? 60 years of the presidency. Well, 3 federal executions. Donald Trump put 13 people to death in 6 months. Where were you on that? Please tell me, Bishop Clarence McClendon, since you care about life, show me where you were when black folks were being gunned down by cops who were unarmed. Show me where you are when it comes to the issue of black maternal health care. This is what happens when we have you so-called sanctified preachers who stand up and spew nonsense out of your pulpits, and you question the vice president, but you say nothing about that evil imp Donald Trump. We called Bishop Clarence McClendon to get him on this show. His staff said that he was in Africa. Well, guess what? Skype works in Africa. FaceTime works in Africa. And I dare this, Bishop Clarence McClendon, if you want to have a faith conversation, bring it. If you want to have a conversation about politics and faith and morality, please bring it. But I don't think you want to have that conversation with me, because I think you are a preaching pimp. Go right ahead, Reese.
Chad, you're not trying to have me cuss the bishop out, so I'll just say that a person who sides with a convicted rapist because the judge clarified that he was found civilly to have raped E. Jean Carroll, if that's who you want to side with, that's who your peoples are, that's all we need to know. Okay, so that's fine. You want to sit up there and you want to, propagate lies and hoot and holler and all that stuff. Child, bye. That's okay. That Trump check is not going to clear. Okay, and he's not going to win. How about that?
Lauren?
I think these guys just want attention. I really do. I think they use the vice president to get attention and rant and rave about something that's a non-controversy and ride the attention of that. I just don't think that it really matters what Bishop McClendon says, quite frankly. There are bigger fish to fry, and I think he's just using this moment as a fake controversy to get attention on himself.
Well, he got some attention. I'm coming with the smoke. Greg.
You are coming with the smoke, brother, and I agree with Lauren and Reese. I mean, I won't say bishop, because at this point, I think we're all old enough to remember at a time when that meant something very different. At this point, I could be a bishop. All I got to do is get somebody to tell me I'm a bishop, and I can tell them they're a bishop. And we all bishops, I guess. You a bishop, I'm a bishop. You get a car. You get a car. But at any rate, this is the guy from Real Preachers. This is the guy from Real Preachers L.A. I heard you say reality star. I didn't watch it, but I remember a little dust up he got in, and then T.D. Jakes got involved and said, my congregation didn't pay for my car, and then he jumps in. I mean, S. Curl is right. I mean, he looks like maybe a reverse aging Little Richard over there. And from what I can tell, at least in the controversy when he divorced his first wife and then married the second one 7 days later, and then she started talking about, the inside parts of the marriage and how he didn't want his reputation damaged, which is why he pressed her for the divorce. Some of us may remember when he was invited by Donald Trump to sit down, and he rejected the invitation, saying that, he didn't want it to be seen as an endorsement. Well, how did you get invited in the first place? I grew up at a time when, I grew up in the period when you start seeing those mega church preachers. But last I checked, Jesus Christ never had a mortgage, never lived in one of those beautiful edifices that have been built in his name with the crosses on the top, as if putting a little electric chair on the top of the church, like Jesse Jackson said when he said that was the instrument of death then and what would be now. I'm always suspicious of those who would wrap themselves in the Bible, who look so flashy and who have so much money and who are pouring out over our people who are so desperately in need of rejuvenation and hope, and then live off of them, suck off of them, and Bishop McClendon pimp off of them. Last I checked, finally, is it Amos Brown, our frat brother, isn't it, who's Kamala Harris's pastor? It doesn't seem to me that Clarence McClendon could carry the toenail of a man like that. Sir, you make a mockery of the tradition you claim to be in. And in fact, I'm going to stop there before I say something I will regret. But I'll just say this. The church I grew up in, the most humble servants are the ones who are the followers of Christ. You, sir, are a clown.
Trump ain't shit.
Did you know that Trump wanted the military to actually shoot Black Lives Matter protesters? I mean,
Trump is not shit.
He let people die during COVID and then told us to drink bleach.
He tried to kill the stimulus bill and couldn't, so he delayed the money just so he could put his name on the check.
Trump ain't shit.
He used the death penalty to execute black men like Brandon Bernard.
He f***ed Obama's economy, lost thousands of black jobs. He started inflation and gave his billionaire buddies a tax cut.
America, Trump ain't shit. Don't vote for that man. He's nothing but
Vote Kamala Harris for president.
In this town, we've seen our share of hard times, heard our share of big promises.
Up to 13,000 jobs.
But empty promises don't build cities.
Plans never materialize.
We do, with grit, sweat, and cold beer. So when he talks,
former President Trump called Milwaukee a horrible city.
We know talk is all he's got. And this is what we've got.